Good evening, everybody. It's Jason coming out to you. It's currently Tuesday evening, about 7 o'clock. Man, do we have a lot to talk about weather-wise. This morning was a surprise for some. I really wish they would have treated the roads. But if you went back and look at some of the graphics from last week, a lot of you knew that this was a possibility this morning. So hopefully you weren't caught too much off guard. That's why I can't stress enough to actually click on the graphics and see a further description of what I'm thinking. Not that I'm always right, nobody ever is, but I do try and give it my best shot. So being that I'm trying to do this kind of quick, I've got somewhere to be here in about a half hour. This may be a little disorganized, so if it is, I apologize for that first and foremost. So with that, let's get right into it. We're going to start here with the this is the NAM model, I believe. No, this is the GFS. And the GFS, you know, we see the area of low pressure here along the Gulf Coast starting to form tomorrow afternoon. We have some rain coming up into Charlotte around 4 o'clock. I feel around 6, around the 6 area time period is when our precipitation is going to start. This is according to the GFS. We have a really nice area of low pressure sitting off the coast, a nice area of high pressure north, driving down the cold air. This is going to be a very quick system. So this is going to be overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So the start time looks to be around 6 o'clock at night, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later, and it's going to last until 6 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. So what comes is going to come overnight. It's going to be a heavy wet snow once again. This is just the GPS showing it in here, and then very, very rapidly moving out and bombing more off the coast. And I'm just going to kind of leave the GFS here because I want to hint at our next potential for wind-free precip. As mentioned before in our previous graphics, we have a nice area of high pressure still funneling in the cold weather, and we've got a nice area of low pressure that's still trying to form to the south. Right now it's not showing as strong as what it was in previous runs, but that's going to go back and forth. So it is something we've still got to keep an eye on for this weekend as we progress into the future. And there we had that little bit here, we see a little blip of moisture right here over the Carolinas. So that's something we got to keep an eye on. Once again, there's low pressure, there's the high pressure. Perfect setup for snow. Bringing that out in the future. I'm sorry, this was the one I was wanting to look at. This was valid Sunday evening. It shows more of a mix here, more than snow. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that because this system that we're going to come through tomorrow night, it's going to be a heavy wet snow. Not going to be much sleet, not going to be much freezing rain, so that's good. If you like to go out there and build snowmans and have snowball fights, this is the kind of snow that you want. So I'm really excited about that. So we are keeping an eye on Sunday's system. Our next run, what we got here is this would be the NAM. This is the North American model. Let's back it up to currently here. Start time, according to the NAM, is still right about 4 o'clock. Areas of Asheville to Charlotte. Some areas may start as rain, including us. Don't let that scare you. Dynamic cooling will cool us down, cold enough to get snow. This, once again, will be heavy wet snow. The NAM showing a really, really good thumping of snow from Charlotte to just southeast of Winston-Salem to Raleigh, Elizabeth City. A lot of times, though, these systems trend just a little bit further north and west, so that's kind of what we're looking for right now. A little bit more of a northwestern jot there, which would increase our accumulations. What's going to be rare about this system is the further east you go, the snow amounts may be higher versus, in the mountains are usually higher. So this is one of them systems where it's kind of backwards a little bit. And the NAM quickly gets that out of here Thursday morning. In our next run here, we have this is the NAM accumulation forecast. I'm just going to wrap this up here. We'll see how the snow rapidly just blows up in our area overnight Thursday. According to the NAM, the heaviest snowfall is just to our east. Forsyth County and Winston-Salem, the Triad area is right here in the 5-inch range, where areas to the east, you're looking at 10 inches to a foot. Once again, I kind of like this shifting west a little bit, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that verifies. It's just my thinking right now. That's usually what happens with these models. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye on that. The next one, you guys know I love this, even though you may not understand it. This is what's called our Schref plume. What this is an average of all model runs kind of in one. And it's got all these, you got your heavier outliers showing, 17 inches. Anything's possible, but that's not likely. And then you got your low ones showing maybe between 1 and 2 inches. Then you have the median, or the middle, the mean we look at here. It's looking between 5, 5.5, 6 inches for the average for our area. So that's what the Schref is showing right now. Earlier on, let's say yesterday, day before, we're showing 1 to 2. Now it's up to 5 today. So with each run, we are increasing our amount. So that's good if you like snow. Once again, this is going to be a nice, heavy, wet snow good for snowball fights, good for building snowmen. This is the good, pretty snow where, it's going to come down. It's going to cover the streets. But by the afternoon, with the heating and the kind of snow it is, it'll probably start melting off the roads by the afternoon, which then we got to watch for black ice the next couple of mornings. More of that later. Our next, what we got here is the European model. And we'll back this up just a little bit here. Oops, wrong way, sorry. Alrighty, I thought I had a couple of the other Europeans lined up here, but I don't guess I do. Alright, so this is valid Thursday. It has our storm system right off the coast, throwing moisture back up into here. Now, I do want you to really pay attention to this. Meteorologists look at something called QPF. That's Qualitative Precipitation Forecast. All right, what that means is the amount of moisture that's going to fall out of the atmosphere. Okay, in the summertime, if, a meteorologist predicts maybe 4/10 to 3/4 of an inch of rain, and we don't get that much, you're not going to know because it's liquid. But in the wintertime with these storm systems, if you get, say, a 1/2 inch of moisture, that equates to 5 inches of snow. If you get 3/4 of an inch of snow, or 0.75, then you get 7.5 inches of snow. And on the low end, if you get a 1/4 inch of moisture, you get 2.5 inches of snow. So this is where it really differs in winter versus summer when moisture amounts come down. Like I said, in the wintertime, if a meteorologist is calling for a 1/4 inch of rain and we get 3/4 inch of rain, nobody's going to notice. But in the wintertime, if you call for a 1/4 inch of liquid, and that equates to 2.5 inches versus 3/4 inch, equating to 7.5 inches. I hope that makes sense. If not, please leave a question. I will be sure to answer what the QPF is in more detail. So this is the euro, and it's showing a good, 3/4 to 3/4 of an inch, pretty much is what it's breaking down to, which is 7.5 inches. So that's something we also got to keep an eye on. As far as the European snowfall outfit, or output, it's showing the snowfall just heavier to the east, just east of Raleigh into the coastal plains. A lot of times, like I said, these models last minute trend to transition this further north and west, as we seen last weekend when they had the winter storm watch and they downgraded to advisory. A lot of people didn't get anything, but that's because the system transitioned northwest and gave the areas up here in Kentucky and West Virginia the heavier snow and left us out. So that could be the same here with the European. We just got to transfer that just a little bit further north and west. We'll know more about that tomorrow, and I'll put more information coming out tomorrow. Okay, so now here's what we have for snowfall forecast. This is the triad right here. This is a 75% likelihood. This is based off the WPC from the National Weather Service, Climate Prediction Center, and it's showing widespread amounts from 8 to 10 inches area-wide. I do like this. I do think this will verify. Right now I'm going with 5 to 8 inches for our area. But if we get in those convective bands, which I'll go into here in a second, somebody's going to pick up a foot or more. There could be thunder snow. If you are one of those lucky ones, you're going to experience just a whiteout conditions, these big white fat flakes coming down. It's going to look absolutely beautiful if you love snow like I do, especially this heavy wet snow. Then you have the outliers here, which shows, greater than a foot, foot to a foot and a half. Do I think that'll happen? No. Could it happen? Yes. Anything's possible in the world of weather. That's what makes weather so fun and interesting. So, all that being said here's what I'm kind of going with. Instead of trying to shade my own colors in, so I'm not exactly good at that. The area here in yellow, I do think we're going to get widespread 5 to 8 inches of accumulation. It looks likely right now, but somewhere in here along the I-85 corridor and the I-40 corridor, there's going to be those convective bands setting up. We don't know where. We can't say until it actually happens. No model can actually show that. But somewhere in this general area, there could be a foot or more. And that means, okay, like say here in southern Forsyth County, if a convective band sets up there, you have a foot versus the northern part of the county where that band doesn't set up, you may have 4 or 5 inches. So it's maybe a 30-mile difference. That's how close this really is. And trying to nail that down, 48 hours before the event is pretty much impossible. We could try our best, but it's pretty much impossible. This is the NAM. And it shows that, once again, that heavier snow being just off to the east, but I have transitioned that to the west just a little bit because that's just typically what happens as this model runs on. There will be a strong cutoff line. You can see it right here where some areas get just to the northwest 4 inches, and within 20 miles you're looking at over a foot. We can't say where that's going to be. We can only watch the radar when the event actually starts to happen. So I'm going to post these 2 maps right here along with this video. If you have questions, please ask them. I'm going to hop back on later on this evening. I look forward to your questions. Thank you guys so much for watching and making your comments. It really means a lot to me. I want to do this to help you guys out, and just knowing that you guys are paying attention, it means a lot to me. It's why I do this. So like I said, the comments, the questions, love them. Please keep them coming. If you have more questions about QPF, I will definitely go into that if you want me to. If not, hey, that's fine. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this.